The greatest comebacks in history never happened in a comfort zone. In 2026, we are seeing a massive shift in how people view their 40s and 50s. It is no longer about winding down, but about the mid-life reboot. Science now confirms that packing your bags does not just change your address, since it physically rewires your brain. A move abroad offers 10 verified psychological advantages that staying home cannot match, ranging from delaying Alzheimer's to shattering anxiety. Research published in the Harvard Business Review describes self-concept clarity. When you stay in your hometown, your identity is often glued together by other people's expectations, making you someone's neighbor, employee, or parent. Cross a border, and those labels evaporate. You are forced to rebuild your identity from the ground up. This is not a crisis, but a clarification, where you stop being who you were told to be and finally meet the person you actually are. William Maddox at INSEAD found that people who adapt to foreign cultures become more creative than those who just travel. This happens because your brain faces non-standard problems daily. You cannot just autopilot through a grocery run in Tokyo or tax paperwork in Spain. This constant friction forces your mind to develop cognitive flexibility. You stop seeing one solution to a problem and start seeing 5, becoming an architect of alternatives. Learning a language provides the best health insurance for your mind. Recent 2026 data supports what neuroscientist Ellen Bialystok has argued for years, showing that bilingualism can delay the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms by 4 to 5 years. That is better than any drug currently on the market. Managing 2 languages acts like a bench press for your executive control system and keeps your cognitive engine running smooth well into old age. We are building a community of people ready for their next chapter. If that sounds like you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss our deep analysis of the best places to live this year. Now, we return to the list. Psychologists call the anxious desire for a definite answer the need for cognitive closure. Living abroad destroys this feeling because you quickly learn that different does not mean wrong. In one culture, being late is rude, while in another, it builds relationships. Navigating these contradictions lowers your stress baseline. You stop demanding the world fit into a binary box and start getting comfortable with the gray areas, which can eliminate years of frustration. Gordon Allport's contact hypothesis proves that the only way to truly dissolve stereotypes is through direct, sustained contact. When you rely on a local neighbor for help or share a meal with a stranger who speaks no English, your brain recategorizes them. They stop being a statistic and start being a human. Your circle of empathy expands from your zip code to the planet, making you a kinder and more open person. Economists like David Blanchflower have long tracked the happiness U-curve, which typically bottoms out in our late 40s. A major relocation can hack this curve because novelty floods the brain with dopamine. Introducing the wonder of a first experience helps you replicate the excitement of childhood. You essentially skip the bottom of the U and jumpstart the upward trajectory of satisfaction years early. When you move, you are vulnerable and need help. Finding an apartment, reading a bill, or catching a bus. Psychological studies on generalized trust show that expats often develop a higher faith in humanity because strangers help them. You realize that most people are decent and kind, despite what the news cycle sells you. This realization physically lowers your cortisol levels, so you walk through the world feeling safer rather than afraid. There is a concept called post-traumatic growth, but growth also comes from positive stress. Relocation is hard when the Wi-Fi fails or the visa office is closed. Solving these micro-crises builds psychological hardiness and helps you develop a thick skin. Problems that used to ruin your day back home suddenly feel insignificant, making you bulletproof against the small stuff. You cannot fit a 3-bedroom house into 2 suitcases, so moving abroad forces a beneficial purge. Thomas Gilovich from Cornell University has proven repeatedly that happiness from material goods fades quickly, while happiness from experiences grows over time. When you trade the fancy car for a year in Portugal, you are trading a depreciating asset for an appreciating memory. It is the smartest investment you can make. Finally, you gain the freedom of global citizenship. You stop being a spectator of just one country's politics and economy because you realize safety and home can be found anywhere. This psychological shift creates a sense of universal belonging. You are no longer tethered to one spot on a map for your security, meaning the entire world becomes your living room. Once you feel that freedom, you never go back. The science is clear that staying put is the risky choice. Moving abroad challenges your brain, deepens your empathy, and might just give you the best years of your life. If you are ready to design a life that excites you, share your dream destination in the comments below, since we would love to hear where you are headed. Thanks for watching, and here is to your next adventure.